Alright guys, here we go. I'm going to start picking these dried beans. All I got left out here is the black beans, the kidney beans, and the Vermont cranberry beans. As you can see, they've died back quite a bit, so that's an indicator for me that it's time to pick them. They're pretty dry, some of them here. The black beans are dry as well. Some of them are a little green, but I'm going to put them on a tray in the garage. I'll show you that here in a minute, and they'll dry out probably for a couple of weeks, and then I'll shell them. Alright, I'll be back once I show you putting them on the shelves I got. Alright, be right back. Alright, I just finished picking all the beans off the plants. Yeah, this is one of the trays I have. This here is the black beans. Then I have the kidney beans. I have another tray over here that has more kidney beans and the Vermont cranberry. These are actually a pretty neat looking bean here. Nice and colorful. If you see, I have some pretty green ones here. Those will dry out eventually. Usually takes a bit longer. But I'm going to have these out here for 2-3 weeks or so in my garage. It's pretty warm in here. I'm going to go ahead and stack these up real quick and show you what it looks like stacked up. So here's the beans stacked up to air dry in my garage. My garage is probably during the summertime upper 90s, so it's plenty warm in here to dry these out real well. Let's see, I got using scrap boards. Scrap wood is pretty valuable, so if you just keep a supply of scrap boards lying around, you never know when you need some little pieces of wood. But as I said, I'll leave these out here for 2 to 3 weeks, let them dry, then I'll come back and show you how I get the beans out of them. I don't have a real fast method. It's just kind of tedious method. But if I were to guess which beans did the best, I would say my pinto beans did the best, but I already shelled them. It actually took up this whole, all 3 trays full of pinto beans. Then I'd probably guess close second place would be the kidney beans and the Vermont cranberry, with the black beans coming up a little bit fewer than the rest. Alright, I'll be back in about 2 to 3 weeks. Today is July 5th. I planted these on April 21st, so it didn't really take 3 months to get them ready to pick. Pretty good addition to your garden. Definitely helps add nitrogen to the soil. I know some people ask me, why do I grow dried beans? Beans are so cheap in the grocery. Well, mostly just so I can have nitrogen added to the soil. And they're pretty easy, and they make nice meals, and also dried beans last forever. You just put them in a jar and they'll last for a very long time. Just make a little meal out of them. Alright, come back in about 2 to 3 weeks. Alright guys, here I am. I'm shelling the dried beans. These are the black beans I've already shelled. Previously the pinto, kidney, and Vermont cranberry. To shell them is pretty easy. I just squeeze them a little bit and then they can split open fairly easy. That's one way of doing it. I was doing the pinto beans a little bit differently. I was basically squeezing them out, and they kind of just pop right out of there. That was taking a bit longer. I don't know if the pinto beans would work this way, but just shelling them right out like that. Now these were actually only out in the garage for 1 week, and then they sat inside here for about a week and a half, and I started shelling them. I've been shelling off and on for a few days. But I'll go ahead and get quite a bit in the bowl. I feel like this is probably about yay much in the bowl here, and I kind of go through it look for any small and deformed bad beans. And I don't see any beans that are bad, I go ahead and squeeze them together, rub them around a little bit, loosens up anything that might be on them, and I lightly blow in there to get all the dirt and other small particles out of there. And then that's that little bit. So I'm going to go through the rest of these black beans, and I'll come back to you when I'm all finished. And I have them after I shell them all, I'll put them in the freezer for about 3 days. That supposedly will help kill anything that might be, any bugs that might be in them, so they don't get eaten up in storage. Once they're in the freezer for 3 days, I take them out, put them in a pan like this here, and let them sit out and dry again, because the freezer will put a little bit of moisture on them when you take them out, so they dry again real good for about 3 days. Then I put them in a jar, and that'll be where they can stay for, I don't know how long, at least a year before they go bad. Alright, I'll come back to you when I have all these beans shelled and put in jars.